So this recipe is called green Tai Tofu, and it may surprise you that a meal that's suitable for a child as young as 10 months has really quite interesting herbs and spices in it. So let's start by warming some olive oil in a non-stick frying pan. You need around about a tablespoon of olive oil. You can always add a little bit more as you go, and because it's a non-stick pan you may not need to add quite as much as you'd expect. So let's start with a little bit to start off with, and let's get it heating up. So as that's warming, we're going to add some finely chopped spring onions. Spring onions, and all onions in fact, are really good for boosting the immune system. We want to keep all of the pieces in this recipe fairly small because a 10-month-old likes to start feeding themselves. You don't want anything that's going to give a little bit of a choking hazard. So keep the pieces small enough so that they can chew them. So let's get the spring onion sizzling. And to really bring the flavours out, this is where we start adding a few more spices. I really love fresh ginger. What you do is you just take off one of these bits of the root, peel off the outer crust, if you like, or the dark brown. And although you can finely chop ginger, if you've got a really sturdy garlic press, you can press it down and that'll give you a much nicer, finer finish to the ginger. Ginger's believed to really help digestion, so it's a good food for such a young child. What we want to do is just have it warm enough so that the onion cooks through rather than browns. And if you like the herbs and spices, what really brings out the Thai flavour of this is lemongrass. If you're not used to using lemongrass, it's quite a woody herb. And for such young children, what I like to do is keep it in larger pieces. So count them as they go in, and then you can take them out at the end, rather than leave a piece in, which then the child has to cope with either chewing, or basically will find it as the child's eating it, and it might put her off for life. So I'm going to cut off some pieces that are about 1.5 inches or 3 centimetres. They have a really lovely sort of lemon balmy smell. Give them a little bit of a rinse, and I'll count off 2 pieces to add into this dish. Now you can see that we're just starting to get a little bit of browning on some of the pieces, and the flavours are really beginning to come out. Although this dish doesn't have garlic in it, a lot of children really do love garlic. So where I've put the spring onions, you could obviously put some garlic in instead. The next thing to add in are some carrots and some potatoes. The recipe for this is on the Baby Channel website, so you can see the quantities and adjust them. As I say, this is enough for 4 toddler servings, or 1 for a toddler and probably 1 for you if you're quite hungry. So add in the potato. And add in the carrot as well. It's the carrot and the potato that will determine how long you need to cook this dish for, because those are the pieces that really need to cook until they're soft. So while the carrots and the potatoes are starting to saute and start to get some of those flavours on, you want to add in some chopped mushrooms. I quite like to keep mushrooms fairly big so that so your child can see them as she's picking them out of the dish. And then some green beans as well. They've obviously been topped and tailed already, and cut them into pieces around about 1.5 centimetres long. And again, just give those a nice turnover in all of the juices, flavours and oils. Okay, so these have now been cooking for a couple of minutes. We want some coriander. and then we're going to chop them finely. I've got some of it prepared here, but just chop it down to small pieces. And this is what really brings the green into the green Thai curry. So this is a vegetarian dish, so we need to add some protein that's really going to help the growth and development of your little one. And for this one, the ingredient is tofu. Now, if you're not familiar with tofu, you can get tofu in a couple of different ways. You can get cream tofu or solid tofu like this. And so the cream tofu is great more for sauces and stews, but here we want to dice it into pieces around about a centimetre square. You might want to make these smaller if your little one's not that confident with pieces, and if your child is the type of toddler that likes to get their hands into anything, and then keeping the pieces bigger will make it easier for them to pick up. A lot of parents get worried that their child has not the most classiest of table manners. Don't worry, that can come later, but there's a stage when their independence really kicks in. And funny enough, it often coincides with them getting teeth as well. They have a real urge to feed themselves. So rather than resisting, give them pieces in their food that are big enough to be able to pick up, and have a look at various other finger foods that you can offer the little one, including some steamed vegetables that can be chilled, because that's quite nice on sore gums, as well as normal hot food. So I'm going to make sure that tofu is nicely mixed in, and then I'm going to add some stock and something else that really makes it a very Thai flavour, and that's some coconut milk. So this is vegetable stock. If you are going to add stock, I really do suggest that you make your own stock, which you simply do by cooking some carrots and some potatoes, leeks, maybe some celery in with some water and reduce it down. Rather than using any kind of stock cube, because stock cubes that you can buy from the store tend to be very, very high in salt. Even the reduced salt ones have too much salt for your little one to cope with. In terms of coconut, to bring the creaminess in, you can either use hard cream coconut that you grate in, or just the liquid cream coconut. So you want to bring that up to a little bubbling simmer. So the potato and the carrot's almost cooked, but we want to add in the coriander to really cook in the flavour. So we've got about a tablespoon of coriander here for about 4 servings. I'm just going to bring that down to a simmer. And you can see the coriander starts to bring a greenness to the curry. And just leave it to simmer for about 5 or 6 more minutes until the potato and the carrot's completely cooked. So it's a really lovely vegetarian dish that is great for little ones as well as grown-ups. It's a really lovely aromatic flavour of Southeast Asia. So that's green Thai tofu.